hi guys. This is Gnimsh. This is Turn2 episode number 22. We are here again. It's for the fourth time and like for the 22nd time actually. So I'm your host, and I'm here today with my co-host Frodan. So what's up, Frodan? How are you?
Hey man, I'm doing all right. I've had better starts to a week before, but I'm hanging in there, man.
Oh yeah. Okay, grand. And we have like a great guest this time. It's no one else than Strifecro.
Hey, what's
Hi, man.
up?
It's
Yeah,
It's
I'm good.
It's good to have you here, Strife. So how did
Yeah, it's good to be back. I remember I'd done turn two before.
it's like your
But
first time, right?
no, I've been on turn two before. It was with some other people though, I believe. So this is the first
Okay.
time here with you.
You're right. It's the first time. So like we are having you
First
this
of
week.
many.
First of many, let's hope. Yeah. Like we are mostly inviting people who won something over the weekend or like did something spectacular. And
Mhm.
like this weekend you just won Tavern Takeover versus you were in the final with an awesome player, but you defeated him for the like another time.
I don't know. Strifecro told me that was the easiest series he had all tournaments. So.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh.
His words, not mine.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Yeah, we already had it, this talk like before when we sat after the final of the Seed Story Cup and discussed like if I should really, well, I can consider you my rival, but if you should consider me your rival because like you are always winning versus me. So like you suggested that ACOP should be my rival at the time
Yeah.
because you're like above. But yeah, like we are talking about the Tavern Takeover, guys. Like last weekend actually, there was like the whole tournament, a lot of good players, a lot of good fun, good stream on PvP Live. So Strifecro, you were the winner. How did you enjoy the whole experience?
I kind of like the games. Like, I think it was like a pretty competitive tournament as far as the people went, and like everybody basically showed me something new. Like, I didn't expect Trump to play, a whole bunch of aggro decks. Alchemix definitely played like some weird stuff that I never saw before, like that kind of mage and stuff. So, and I was pretty surprised by some of the cards in your Giants deck and stuff.
Oh, did you expect like Straza or Draxus? You didn't, right?
It's not really that. It's like you had so many like Sunwalkers and stuff.
Okay, and you also won against Trump, right?
Yeah, that was my round one opponent.
Okay, if I remember correctly, you were happy about that game as well, like because you won 3-2, so it was a close
It
match.
was really close, yeah. It was. I'm pretty sure that was the closest series I had in the tournament because it went all the way to game 5, and I could have easily lost, So
Yeah, you had
Okay.
a pretty good comeback actually. I think it was your Druid game, I think, or I don't remember exactly, but that was
I
a
was
fun
even
series.
down 2-1 at some point. So yeah, I was pretty scared there.
Well,
Cool.
personally,
So,
I had.
oh my bad,
Yeah.
Nimsh.
Yeah, please go.
I
Please go
thought
for
I
it.
wanted to ask Strifecro a question, but if you're not done reminiscing about your series, go ahead.
No. I'm fine. I'm fine. Like we are done with my series. Like we started like a bit on a different note, but let's talk about this tournament. So if you have questions, just go ahead.
Yeah, so like I guess to kind of recap people who didn't get to watch a Tavern Takeover, it was an 8-person tournament hosted by PvP Live. I think it was a $3,000 prize pool, single elimination, and they brought a mixture of North American players with a few European cameos. Gnimsh was one of those guys, and Strifecro was on the bottom of the bracket. They ended up going all the way and meeting in the finals, where once again Strifecro seems to have gotten the better of Gnimsh. Gnimsh thinks that they're rivals. I think it's kind of like. That's I don't know if Strifecro considers Gnimsh a rival because he wins like 80% of the time, so it might have to even out a little bit more. But Gnimsh played very well in the series. I think everyone had a lot of expectations on Hyped because he came to the tournament kind of fresh off that Tempo Storm acquisition, which we'll talk about in a sec. And I guess we're having Strifecro here to kind of talk about some of the games, but also to just generally get to know him a little better because people are wondering what Strifecro's been up to. So I wanted to talk more generally, like outside of tournament, but I guess we can talk about Tavern Takeover as well. So my first question to Strifecro is, like, how do you go about preparing for tournaments like this, especially since you're somewhat teamless in a way? You're like freelancing for Doggy House. Liquid Value seems to have officially dropped off the face of the planet. So are you just kind of flying solo at the moment, or is there still like a group of people helping you build decks? Like, how do you go about in terms of like tournament preparation and everything?
I guess from what I've noticed, I do the best in tournaments when like my mind is really into Hearthstone. So it kind of just depends how much I'm playing. Like, I have taken some fairly long breaks from playing, but recently I've been like playing a lot, and I don't know. I don't really prepare for tournaments per se. Like it's just whatever. Like I don't know. I kind of just play Hearthstone and then play tournaments. If you know what I mean.
Oh, come on.
That's
We were
just
testing last time.
That is so maddening to hear for like the
what.
99.9% of the rest of the players who are like, well, how come that doesn't work for me? I play Hearthstone and I'm not that good.
That's true. I did test some games of Gnimsh before the tournament. But yeah, I mean, I guess like I don't know, like as far as like actually playing people in practice games, it's fairly rare for me. Like I almost always just play ladder, and I guess I don't know. I guess the decks I play are just decks that I like and ladder most of the time. But I definitely do think about it as far as like a tournament perspective, as far as because it's a little bit different. Like you get to a lot of times you get to pick what you want to play when you lose. So it's a little bit more like counter deckies. So it's definitely stuff to consider, but it's mostly just playing the games and ladder or whatever.
So there's no like group of people helping you build decks. It's just purely your own mind versus, I guess, a group of people. Because like Doggy House shares decks, Curse sometimes shares decks, etc., etc.
I mean, I've seen. I guess I've seen a lot of Doggy House decks. I'm not sure about the curse stuff, but like the whole like keeping decks secret and building decks thing is just such a small thing. I've always said this because you can keep a deck secret for one tournament at most, and since there were other tournaments recently, it's not even secret to me, even the curse decks, because I saw them already on Chan Man's tournament the last weekend. I'm not sure. I forgot
Deck
the name
Wars,
of it.
right?
Yeah, Deck Wars,
Yeah.
exactly. So I pretty much like knew their deck lists already. I mean, so that's why like it's just like the whole like deck building thing is such like a small advantage to begin with, because it's just not it's a non-permanent advantage, and it goes away so fast the moment they know your deck. So I'm just not
Also, like
really big into that kind of stuff.
the meta game is pretty stable right now. We had a little shake up after the nerf of Unleash the Hounds, but more or less like all the players know all the cards, and there is like little room for innovation really. So it will be much more important when the new cards are released, because then like really if somebody has an idea which is great and tested, it will give him an advantage. But for now it's like really you change a couple of cards, you test the deck yourself. So yeah, it works that way as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we talked about deck wars, and Frodan, you've mentioned Hyped as one of the Hyped players, and you mentioned he's transferred to Tempo Storm. What do we know about it? They actually acquired the guy.
Yeah, so Temper Storm has been talking for a while, like publicly, that they weren't done picking up players. Like Reynad was looking for more talent. Even was talking people, like he was listing people explicitly on his stream. He was saying like he approached guys like Strifecro and Calento, just asked like interest level, and just seemed like he couldn't really find that one guy. But Hyped is a guy that's been getting more and more attention, not just for his ladder results, but just because he's been also like I guess he's been one of those guys that people have been copying a lot of the metagame and people are net decking off of, and therefore he's seen a lot of popularity. And it just kind of felt like a natural fit because Tempo Storm is a very big deck building team, right? They pride themselves on being ahead of the metagame, and it feels like it fits naturally. I think he was looking for maybe another EU guy, but Hyped is a great pickup. I don't know what your thoughts on, because you guys, I've played Hyped a few times on ladder, but that was when he was playing his Miracle Rogue Rampage, and I was one of his many wins to rank 2 and 3 for that season.
Well,
What do you think about him?
Personally, I haven't played him before. Like, I knew that he's a rogue master. He was considered a rogue master because he got first place NA with a rogue with his first account and second place NA with his second account with the same deck, or like maybe changed a bit. So, and before I was to face Hyped in Tavern Takeover round 1, and I actually played against him. I did a little research to see like how he plays and stuff. So I was watching some of the VODs on his stream, and he seemed like a really consistent and good player. Then when I faced him, he also seemed like a strong opponent. Like, I was able to win in the end in the 5th match, but it was really a tough win, and I was really happy to win against him. So I think he's. I'm not sure how much of a deck builder he is. Like, is he actually having a list of decks that he built? Because I know that he's a very consistent ladder player, and that he makes good decisions. So that's definitely a strong addition to the Tempo Storm. But like, is he really a great deck builder?
I'm not sure. Like, I think the Miracle Rogue list that he plays is a little bit different, but I'm not sure. Like, the cards that I've seen are like he has a lot more like little cantrips, such as more loot hoarders and novices than most Miracle decks, I believe. And I also think that he had Senjin Shieldmaster. But I've never seen him play anything other than Miracle Rogue, so other than that, I'm not sure.
I think he was also playing a mage deck that's also been seeing a lot of spike of popularity. Not nearly as much as everything, because ladder meta is kind of chaotic right now. But he's also made a mage deck. You know, look, I don't know too much. I do know that he's putting up more content on the website as well. So overall, I just think it's a really good pickup for that team. And I think it's cool that more people are getting noticed, because if it's already starting to get to the point where big names are recycling and shuffling, like it happens already in other games, but like you want more people coming in and making reputations for themselves. So I'm pretty happy that another quote unquote unknown guy is starting to get attention.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there is a lot of good players, and Hype was definitely a player that was well recognized before. Like the fact that he was invited to Tavern Takeover is pretty great. That he wasn't one of the super big names invited to invitationals and stuff, but he was doing really consistently on ladder, and Tavern Takeover guys just reached out to him and invited him. So that only proves that you don't have to be everywhere and get recognized, be like a celebrity to be recognized as a good player. You just have to really be a good player, and people will recognize you by your skills.
Yeah, there should be a really good encouragement for people. You know, they're always saying like how Hearthstone is just like one big boys club, right? Where it's always the same people you see invited tournament to tournament. But Hype's one of those players that even in today's quote unquote like invite only tournaments, he's starting to make a name for himself as well. So it's still possible. It's hard, but you got to stay dedicated. And he's also played like so many games to kind of get to where he is. So just work hard, and I think if you're a good player, you'll eventually get noticed. You'll have to get noticed if you're a really good player.
One last word about Hyped is like, because I was the only player to face him in the Tavern Takeover, I have to say that he was really friendly. Like, I've approached him to play the game. He was really friendly to start the game, and then after the game, he was also like really friendly, thanked me for the games, put a couple of smileys, and a very good impression. Like, we had a great match, and we had a good conversation. Like, we didn't talk much, but it's always good to see like a friendly player, another player that will say like, "Yeah, you suck," or "You were lucky." People say I'm lucky. I don't know why.
I think it's implied when people say good game. Yeah.
Okay, guys. Like, apart from the meta game, apart from the tournaments, there was a new card announced. The card is called Duplicate.
Dude,
have you seen it? Yes, that's a mage card.
Oh, okay. I remember. That's when one of your minions die, you get 2 of them in your hand. I believe, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a 3
So
mana secret. When a friendly minion dies, put 2 copies of it into your hand. Leper Gnome dies. You get 2 copies of Leper Gnome to your hand, and then can play double Leper Gnome the next turn.
see, like people keep using that
I
example.
don't know. That is
but-
really weird because if you're a leper gnome deck, that implies that you want to just zerg him down and drop stuff every turn. You can't drop like that's like an arcane intellect, right? It's like it's effect. I mean, you kind of may control what you draw, but it's more like an arcane intellect because you have to spend a 3 mana on the secret too. And if you're a leper gnome deck, I don't know how much you want to spend 3 mana on a secret one whole turn.
Yeah, they keep using Leper Gnome as the example when I thought it combos better with like Kieran Tor Mage and you get 2 Tor Mages and then
Loot
the
Hoarder.
following turns you just keep getting free secrets in a sense. And like, that's actually like big tempo plays, but then you don't really run out of cards by playing like, you don't really run out of gas if you have duplicates. So you kind of have just more board presence and pressure. Like that's what I thought it originally supposed to be. But a lot of people are just saying that it's just awful. So I don't know. Like I feel like it's a little unfair because we've always pegged so many cards right off the bat as a community. Like this card is not useful; it's too situational. But I think it does have its practicality. Like if you want to build, it just gives more options for those secret mind game mages that people
Well, the
once in a
problem
while try to build.
the card seems like interesting, but the problem with the card is that it will be playing in a secret mage. So if somebody plays Kirin Tor, obviously like Kirin Tor is the best play. Kirin Tor turn 3 or turn 2 with a coin and duplicate, it's great because they have to do something with Kirin Tor. They just can't ignore it. So they can like probe into attacking you, see if it's vaporize or like if it's an ice barrier, whatever. Try casting spells, but like if it's not, they will have to do something with Kirin Tor. So it's like a the best situation, but it's very situational. The other uses like even if you have like Loot Hoarder which survived and you can duplicate it, or like if you can use it like later, it's again situational because you only can have like 1 minion board for it to be a certain use. If not, if you have something else, your opponent can try to play around it and not even like heal your minion. And also like if you play it and with a certain situation on board, your opponent can try to play around it. So it's a cool card. Like it's really hard to say how good it will be because we haven't seen all the Death Rattle cards. And it gives some more options to the secret mage deck or like even to a different build of a mage deck. But it's not like this card is so strong, like I have to include it.
Yeah,
I mean,
come to think of it, I think it could be good in a control mage with limited amount of threats. Just because there's some matchups playing control mage where you feel like you have a really hard time killing them. Like you can go through a whole deck and maybe not kill them. It's just like it's pretty much like stuff like mage versus control warrior, where because Alex Straza doesn't peel armor anymore, and you're not really developing anything early against control warrior. A lot of times you can get into weird situations where you just can't kill the warrior like ever almost. And I think that card can really give you 2 big threats. Like as far as like if you look at like the sum of 30 of all your cards, you know, most of the creatures you're running in that kind of mage are like big gigantic creatures, and it'll just
Most
help you.
you're running utility creatures in the control decks, so you can even use it like with Doomsayer, like play it and play Doomsayer. Then Doomsayer has to die. I mean, they can silence it,
That's true. That's actually interesting.
but Doomsayer has to die at some point. So then you get like two more copies of Doomsayer. That's perfect,
oh,
right?
that's so annoying. Oh my god. And you have 4 Doomsayers in the deck. At least no, you have 6 Doomsayers in the deck.
Six Doomsayers, yeah,
Oh
potentially.
my goodness.
OP. They have to like nerf the card.
Maybe
And then you
Doomsayer
like
takes a lot of setup though.
faceless it.
So.
Oh man.
I think
Yeah.
people were also thinking, wait, actually, like Doomsayer. The thing is, like when you play Doomsayer, if it dies on opponent's turn, then it's fine because it will trigger duplicate. But if it like lives till your turn and triggers in the beginning, like duplicate will
Oh
still
yeah, Secrets
it won't
will never
trigger.
proc
I
turn.
guess it's
Yeah.
like an insurance card then, right, on your Doomsayer, because if
If
it
they kill
dies,
it, you get another one or like 2 copies in your hand.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess one of the points of Doomsayer is that like it takes a lot of setup. It's not easy to just play Doomsayer. I mean, you can kind of do it, but you know, a lot of times like if you want to get it really effective, you need a combo with like a freeze. You know, so at that point you just might not have enough freezes to play them.
Yeah, but sometimes Nuseri just tanks 7 damage, and like
Yeah,
if
exactly.
you're in that situation, you just play it with duplicate, and you're like, yeah, if they kill it, it's fine. I get 2.
Mhm.
If they don't, I'm still fine. I just clear the board. So it gives an option, and
If it
obviously it also will copy the big threats you've mentioned, right? So
Yeah. Like a
yeah,
Ragnaros or something.
yeah,
Alex Raza. That'd be really annoying with Alex Raza. Like see Alex Raza them and you have like an ice block. Like maybe they'll kill your Alex Raza and proc your block, but like you know, you get 2 more Alex Raza and then you can
Frodan
start
you
healing
muted.
yourself too.
I think we lost Frodan actually.
Uh,
Yeah, we lost Frodan. Well, sorry for the technical difficulties. Frodan will be back soon. So yeah, duplicates. It's a cool card, right?
yeah, I think it's interesting. More cards. More cards is better. Like Hearthstone needs more cards kind of. Your card pool is kind of small and it feels like there's not it feels like when you're making decks you don't have enough options right now. But you know,
And
the
Strife, what do
new
you think about like new mechanics? Does Hearthstone need new mechanics as well, or just only the cards to make I don't know the pool bigger?
well, they're always like really careful on keeping it relatively simple. You know, like that's like a design cost of their decisions. I mean, it's really good in a lot of ways too. But you'll never see. I don't think you'll ever see some really weird effects in Hearthstone. Um, I think they were trying to stay away from a lot of effects that like you needed a counter for. Um, you know, for like the information, like say, like on next turn something will happen maybe, and it's just like you know less stuff to I guess memorize, and they don't really want to show all the clutter on the screen for UI. So there's a limit. There's definitely a limited amount of stuff they can do, but I mean there. I think there will add more mechanics, and they should add more mechanics. It's just there's basically a really fine line between like adding in a mechanic that might make the game a lot more complicated, you know.
Yeah, I'm mentioning Frodan is back by the way. Hey, Frodan.
yo,
Okay, I've asked Strife about we are still on duplicate. I've asked about new mechanics, and following on that, I feel like the death rattle mechanic actually coming back from OutTCG, it was working really great with this card. Like if you could, the death rattle would also trigger on some cards when the card was going from your hand into your discard pile, and some of the death rattle effects were really good in combination with that. So it utilized the cards that enabled you to discard cards, like a looter effect, where where you use a minion to draw a card and then discard a card. So you could like combine those effects with the dev rattle, which was going to the graveyard or discard pile. So
yeah, but then they kind of like now the new Warlock card, which is I'm not sure how legitimate it is, but the new Warlock card seems to have taken a step away from that, which is like it's called Chaos Bringer. It was released in a Brazilian Portuguese. I was gonna say the Brazilian language.
are you sure that's actually a
I
legit
don't know
card?
how legit it is, but if it is, it's a completely different direction than Death Rattle. It's play a random demon from your hand, which is like that just sounds bananas, especially because the stats on it already are pretty good.
I will read it maybe for Strife.
Well, what is it? What is the stats on it?
It's like Ultimo Suspirio, Colloque un Demonio. Not sure how. What is it?
It's okay, so
French?
it's a 3/4 for 3.
3, 4 for okay, so that's a little bit over
It's for
budget
4.
already.
Is it for?
For 4.
It's for 4.
Oh, is it for 4?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Did I misread the mana cost?
Okay, so it's like a demon.
What's the number after 2, guys? Am I? Someone remind me. All right.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so this is a card that was spoiled on
Oh, it does
some
cost 4 mana. My
Belgian
bad.
Facebook, right? It's we don't know if it's true or not. It's using an old Void Walker art from like beta or even alpha. For 4 mana, it's a 3/4, so the stats are a bit below the curve because it has like less attack, and it has Death Rattle effect when this card dies or like is destroyed, whatever. You can put a random demon from your hand into play.
Okay.
Oh, it is a
So
death rattle. Sorry, I can't read Portuguese, so it's or is it Portuguese? I don't even know what language
I
this
don't know.
is.
I'm not reading it. I'm like saying from memory from the Reddit thread because I've seen it.
Okay.
So like people are thinking, hey, I play this dude. He's like worse than Dark Iron Dwarf, but if it dies, I can have a Pit Lord played for free from my hand.
Oh, and it's only demon too,
Yeah,
so that cuts down on a lot of it.
or Jiraxus from my hand on the board on
You
turn
summon a
5.
3/15.
When you when you cheat in Draxus, that's weird. Like it doesn't actually get the battle cry, I think. So you
Yeah,
just
yeah,
end up with
exactly.
like
So
a
it's a
315.
315. Yeah,
Well, that's strong too.
That's really crazy. Just
yeah, it's not bad, right? I
Mhm.
mean, the card is not that bad as itself because like it's a decent stats demon, which is a bit below the curve.
Well, there
Uh,
is cards with that effect. It's not like they're adding in the new effect because Mind Games does something like very similar to that already, where you put a random card from their library from their deck into play. So it's not
yeah,
like that effect doesn't already exist,
yeah, but
and
this
that
card is like
is much stronger than
more
Mind Games.
controlled. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
No,
Because
because
mind games
Mind
is totally
Games
random.
doesn't give the. It's not just that; it's just mathematically because Mind Games doesn't come on a 3/4 for 4. Like they both cost 4 mana, but Mind Games um, only gives you that creature, whereas this card, you get a 3/4, and when it dies, you get that effect. So, I
Yeah,
mean, granted, it's a little bit different effect, but I don't know if it's stronger or weaker than the Mind Games effect because the Mind Games effect is just completely like look like there's no way for you to play around anything, right? It's like you're just copying from their deck.
yeah.
But you can do some cool stuff here.
Well, this
I
card
guess.
definitely gives you an idea of some kind of a demon deck that you can build.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
because right,
It really favors like a slower demon deck too, like because you really don't want to like cheat in 1 drops. You know what I mean? You're better off cheating out bigger drops, basically. So it's like a demon deck that doesn't run like the 1 drop demons potentially.
I would say that it's possible that this card is actually like a true card. Because we still don't know about that. It's possible because going back to my discussion with Ben Brode at some point, like Blizzard confirmed that they are really into theme decks, like a demon deck, Murloc deck. Like they want to introduce some kinds of decks like that where you have this specific theme. And right now, like Warlock is more focused on like zoo with small minions or like control with some giants. There's not really a demon deck that's viable.
Yeah, there's
So
also some other cards that are a lot of warlock cards mention demon, like demon fire. You can only buff demons, and there's the 3 mana arcane intellect that only draws demon. I don't even know the name of it because no one ever
Sense
plays it.
demons.
Yeah, it sends
sense demons,
demons.
yeah, you can get a worthless imp out of it.
I've actually gotten tons of worthless. I used to play that
Yeah.
card a lot for some reason, just testing
Well, it
stuff.
used to be cool. Like you can summon Jiraxus sometimes if you only have Jiraxus as like one of your few
Uh,
demons or something. Like
Well, it's back in the old like when Warlock was the only deck. Basically, it's like the Shatter Sun Cleric days. When I guess we just didn't know what was good, so we just kind of tried everything and put in
yeah,
cards like that. Then
yeah.
you would get Sense Demons. I
The
mean, the
1/2
It was
novice
like
worthless
engineers.
names. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's definitely a card that's interesting, but yeah, we'll see if it's gonna. I hope that if it's actually a real card, Blizzard can spoil it like soon.
That
Yeah.
actually seems pretty strong, honestly, because if you look at it from another perspective, it's basically a 4 mana for a 3/4 with a death rattle. So you can almost think of it as a Horror's Golem, except like the death rattle, the card that comes out is potentially stronger than potentially a lot stronger than the Harvest Golem thing, you know. I guess there's a cost of that too because you have to discard a card for the
Exactly, you
second
also
part.
lose a card from your hand.
Yeah.
Well, but let's suppose like you're playing on turn 4, and it
I think it's
all
definitely strong.
you can
Actually.
actually suck it if you want. I mean, because it's not a secret. Like the death rattle will work, so you can
Mhm.
probably just try to trade it, or like maybe even use power of overwhelming or some other effect and
Mhm.
trigger the death rattle yourself. Like Warlock will have a lot of effects.
Yeah, like Void Terror. That's like
Yeah,
my
Void
favorite
Terror as
card.
well.
That's like pretty much my favorite card, and I've never been able to use it in a too competitive deck. I've tried to make a lot of Void Terror decks before.
It really adds value. Like think about power overwhelming on this guy, attack,
Yeah,
and play Void Terror. You get like a big Void Terror
yeah,
and a
yeah.
demon from your hand.
Mhm.
Oh my
So
Oh,
god.
that's
sick.
cool.
Actually,
Bringing back the Void Terror deck.
yeah, Void Terror back in
Uh-oh.
the metagame, confirmed.
We don't need
Void
more
Terror.
Warlock decks. Stop it, Strifecro. There's enough Warlocks on ladder.
Yeah, it's like a lot of Void Terror decks use Watcher too, because you can
Yeah,
just
that's
eat
true.
the Watcher to activate it. It's like marginally good.
Actually, the like this card being spoiled on a Belgian Facebook page brings in another topic. The spoiling of the cards, because I'm not sure how it works in esports. Like if somebody spoils a mechanic from the pad, I don't think it's even possible. But in card games, it's easy to spoil the card to the community because Blizzard or like any company that's running a card game, they are sending those cards to the community sites before, so that they can write a news about them, like a piece of information. Hey, this will be the new card.
Uh-huh.
And it often happens that some people are just oblivious about the thing that they shouldn't put it live before Friday 3 p.m., for example, and they just spoil it. And then we end up in the situation like we are right now, where we talk about the card in Belgian,
Uh-huh.
or is it it's French or Belgian? I don't know. Anyway, like we talk about the card where we are not sure if it's like released, if it's a real card. Even if it is, like they just got a lot of traffic probably because they are the source. So it's a weird situation. What do you guys think about spoiling cards? Maybe Frodan.
I mean, I just want more cards. Like I don't. It's cool because it gives us ideas, but you know, these are just so much. There's so much teasing, man. Like I want to get to the main course already, Blizzard. Like it's just we don't have any more information about Naxxramas and its release dates. We kind of got rumors of the prices and stuff like that, but it's just like, and I know Blizzard relishes in this. They love knowing and you not knowing. So it's just like at this point, it's just getting annoying. I'm just like, dude, just like I know it's been 9 weeks, 9 classes, and there's supposed to be this whole thing and release it, but like, you know, DreamHack's coming up, and people are kind of wondering if they can use that. And there's going to be more tournaments like the follow-up DreamHack in Valencia. Like I hope we can showcase these cards. It's like the perfect time, right? It's free marketing and advertising to have the expansion come out and then a big tournament happens. It's like you show these cool cards and how they can fit in different decks, and people are like, the metagame is super chaotic because of it. And like we still don't have a time frame of it. That's what frustrates me the most because like I don't care about spoiling. I just want to actually be able to play the cards. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Strife, spoiling actually before Blizzard actually wants to spoil cards. Like, do you think that might
Oh,
be a problem in the future?
yeah, I mean if they're really spoiling it with Blizzard not really wanting them to, that's a little bit different. I mean, I know that almost all the cards that have been released have just been Blizzard posting on their own Twitter, you know, so like that's clearly intentional. But I guess this is a rare case because we haven't. I guess we haven't seen something like this happen before. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's generally fine to like leak the. I mean, as far as like leaking the cards early, I think it's fine if it's like if they have permission to do it. You know, like I don't mind like Blizzard leaking a card early. I don't. I guess it's just if it's wrong information or like it has to be when people are ready because if it gets changed and stuff, it's just weird, like when you leak information in there,
Yeah.
it doesn't even come out. But I mean, as long as it's just going to be released, I don't know. They can just leak it.
I have good news for you guys, by the way. Like, there was a Twitter from Catalyst from Blizzard, I think yesterday or like 2 days ago, that he said that he's not tweeting a lot because he's really working hard on Naxxramas. So something is in the air. They are working hard.
Cool. Good to hear. I hope so. Hearthstone's been so good for Blizzard, and it's honestly just been the surprise. And a lot of people, it's just like there's so many detractors who still always say like, "Oh, Hearthstone's not fun to watch. Like, it's not competitive. It's RNG. It's super casual." But like, I think Hearthstone at least has shown that it has staying power, and like, it just amazes me how people can still come up with cool decks and just kind of like think outside the box this late into development. Like it's almost been like 9 months, 10 months since we've had these cards since beta, and the metagame still has it's definitely crawling at this point in terms of its growth, but it's still growing at a slow rate. So like it's still pretty impressive how the
I mean, a lot of
decks have created
changes
there.
are due to the patch. They've been patching it, so it's not
Well, it was one
necessarily.
change to unleash the hounds, but yeah, I know what you mean.
It was a major change.
That's really big, yeah.
Well,
And
that was
also,
the
and also,
gatekeeper.
yeah, and also, it's not just. I mean, if you're talking about over like 8 months, that's not been the only patch. There's been tons of patches. Yeah.
But I think the only thing that, other than just mana cost, though, it was just kind of like the only thing that was a design change was Unleash the Hounds, right? Am I miss? Oh no, there was actually the Greater Healing that turned into Mass Dispel.
Well, all the cards are different. Like stuff like Dark Iron Dwarf, Charitson Cleric, Defender Argus, Blood Imp. These are all like
The
Oh,
secrets
giant.
you're right.
change,
You're
for
right. You're
example,
right. You're
it
right.
was huge as well. Like the secret change. That
Mhm.
secrets only trigger on your opponent's turn, not on your turn.
I like that he hashtag development as if that's supposed to be some chain that people are like looking for Hearthstone updates. Like, thanks, man.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people do not give mana changes enough credit. Like when you nerf a card by 1 mana, that's like a gigantic change. Like I feel like nerfing a card by 1 mana is almost equivalent to adding in like an effect that says like discard a card every time you play it. Like because if you think about it, like the difference between like say Ogre Magi and Azure Drake is just 1 mana, and Azure Drake draws you an extra card. So it's like, and if you look at like stuff like Gnomish Inventor, it's like a 3 mana creature, like one more mana, draw a card. It's like a lot of stuff like that. So when you nerf a card by 1 mana, I feel like it's huge. It's almost like just saying discard a card every time you play it from before.
A very interesting look at Gnimsh Inventor, by the way. Like
Because
a
like
3 mana
2/4 around
2/4
like
with an effect for 1 mana draw a card. Yeah, it makes the card kind of great actually, because it's like almost above the curve, right?
Well, a 2/4 for 3 mana is like maybe like not really above the curve. It's like mediocre, but because the Harvest Golem is strictly better than a 2/4 pretty much at 3 mana. Because it's a 2/4 at least, unless you silence it. But I mean,
Yeah.
then it's just a 2/3. I don't know. I don't think that makes it much of a difference.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool. That's a cool perspective.
Yeah. Anyways,
Definitely.
the Naxxramas is on the horizon as we talked, and but there is a lot of tournaments that won't include Naxxramas in their set, like DreamHack. We talked about DreamHack last week, but there are some tournaments that will happen, and some of them actually were cancelled as well. So maybe Frodan, tell us about the ESGN League.
Yeah,
Because-
so, well, the ESGN League was supposed to start at the end of June. Actually, no. If you want kind of like the inside scoop, and you guys get the pleasure since I'm hosting it, the ESGN League was planned months ago. We were trying to get basically the best players from around the world, do an online portion. It would be regional, and then the regional online competition would seed into the offline finals, would be hosted in Berlin, and we'd fly those players out, and then the winner would get a crap ton of money for playing a card game, and then we'd be like, hooray, and then the bottom half of the players get relegated and new qualifiers open up and start like playing for relegation. It was going to be like this whole system and stuff. And it was really cool because we had the top players. Both of you guys at least agreed in principle to play. And we had other guys, Amaz, Reynad, Artosis, all the top guys, all the top streamers, all the top players, Savish, Life Coach, like all these really cool guys were going to play in it. And then all this kind of controversy came out on the press, whether it was not paying players, not paying employees, not being able to honor agreements with some talents. And then all these interviews started coming out. And basically what they decided to do was that this Hearthstone League can't really go on in good opinion or good faith until they settled some of their previous debts. And that included like fight nights, for example. I think the last 2 fight nights haven't been paid, and Mana Grind won actually a lot of money in the last fight night because they won 4-0 in a very convincing fashion. So
Isn't
they're
it 5
owed a lot of
games?
money.
Wasn't
Oh, sorry,
it a
yeah,
total
they
of 5 games?
they won 4-0 and they lost the ace match. If they won the ace match, that's a lot of money owed.
Yeah,
and we were
I
like, oh
remember
crap,
that.
we're completely screwed.
Yeah.
So we did pay out the first 2 fight nights. It was just at one point the money just actually stopped getting paid out to the players. And so I think Strifecro's, you're paid for fight night for the first 2 seasons. Gnimsh still is owed 1. Mana Grind's
No.
owed
We were
2.
talking about it. Like I was paid for all the seasons. You actually paid for all the fight night seasons that I was in. I got pretty lucky, and all the players who were in the same fight nights as me were lucky as well.
Wow.
Like,
So
It's
in
just
Hearthstone
Gnimsh
and
luck
out of
out
Hearthstone,
on
Gnimsh
us.
is still luckier than most of the players. It's kind of disgusting.
This is what can I say, right? I mean,
Man.
the fight night there was like the first fight night that was not paid was the one that I was actually not playing in. I was doing interviews and stuff. It was Doggy
Right.
House versus Migraine, yeah.
That's right, because they had Nyx rotate back in. The thing about the way the league was going to run, though, was that a lot of players expressed reserve about playing in it until they kind of honored the contract. So I'm kind of glad ESGN decided to take this route to try and make sure that they're settled to current before they start planning into the future. It just makes more sense, and it's good business. It's better business practice. Good business
it's
practice is
definitely
paying
good,
everything on time.
It's just
definitely.
good faith. It's hard to just run another tournament when you owe so much money to people from the last tournaments, so.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time it's done in this industry, but it's definitely not good practice overall. So I'm kind of glad. But as a result, I was working on this league. This was basically going to be the thing I was going to be working on next because Fight Night took a big indefinite hiatus. A lot of people still ask me, is Fight Night going on? We spent a lot of time, resources planning this out. We had like everything planned. Like we had commentators ready to come join me because it wasn't just going to be me. We had a lot of logistics planned out, schedules, timelines, graphics, really cool stuff, and it all just got put on hold. And I guess with that being put on hold, there's really no need for me to kind of be on the team with all the kind of restructuring. So that's why I no longer work there. And now I don't know necessarily what ESGN plans to do for future content, but that's kind of like the summary of what happened from my perspective, Gnimsh.
So are you still with ESGN?
No, I actually have been let go from the company, but
Okay.
I think that's kind of been public knowledge as of yesterday. So.
That's sad news. So like,
That's sad.
Yeah, really sad. We are sorry for that, but you're here with us, so we're not letting you go. We are not letting you go easily.
I don't want to leave the Hearthstone scene. I really like everything that's been going on, and maybe I'll try to do some other Hearthstone stuff. But staying on topic, I think ESGN, their prize pool, like to 25,000. Realistically, if they owed 10,000 to Fight Night in the previous 2 seasons, there's no way they could pay out to 25 grand, and therefore like it makes sense that they kind of canceled it. It's a shame too because we were planning some really cool stuff that I felt like would take Hearthstone broadcast to the next level, like stuff that really made viewer engagement really positive and like makes it really interesting for them to watch. Besides just like the card interaction and the board plays and the graphics, there's going to be cool other things interacting more with stuff like probability counters and percentages coming in that's automated by the system and stuff. Like we were working on all those things, and unfortunately, it just got put to a halt. So hopefully,
On the
ESPN
bright
kind of
side,
puts
on the
their
bright
stuff
side,
together.
Frodan, it's like you've worked on all this stuff, and now you have the knowledge of how it, well, how you planned it, and like the whole league and all the brackets and stuff. So, if anybody there, like any organization, wants to have a Hearthstone league, there is your man. Like he knows everything. He can run the league for you. So definitely good stuff that you did there. It's pretty sad that the league was canceled, but like the knowledge is there, like the people have it, so maybe somebody will pick it up, or like maybe ESGN will actually pick it up in the future. Like ESGN didn't close, they closed their studio only, so the company is still alive as far as I know. So fingers crossed that after they settle their internal problems, they will just will flourish again and maybe get all the teams back on board and continue to be awesome.
Yep. Well, I agree, and someone kind of mentioned in chat. This is a really good point to bring up that they think ESPN or Fight Night in general went too big in the very beginning. Like, the models, the wheel spinning, the big lights, the big studio and stuff. And I agree to a certain extent. But at the same time, like Hearthstone really didn't have anything at that time, and the whole idea, I created Fight Night essentially, but I created the Fight Night under the guise that I wanted to build team brands and I wanted to build player personalities, and I think that got the job done. Like the guys that you see all the time now, they have Fight Night not only to boost their reputation, but also to kind of think upon like this is the beginning of the scene, and these were like the things that were developing, the stories that were developing, and we wouldn't really have like Savish would have he would not have that kind of momentum as much as just like having King of the Hills, or even some of like the Clarity and Managran guys like Dark Wanix and Forsen and Reels, and all the time Ekop's been BMing people and stuff. These are all fun memories that people have, and for that I'm really grateful that I was able to be part of that alone.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely great stuff, and I think it helped. It helped a lot. Like I mean, it helped the scene. Like right now there is like a benchmark because there is Fight Night, and people can always go there, watch the games. They are still fine, even though like if the meta is different. There was a lot of fun in the interviews and the games, a lot of stories. So good times definitely. I would only like cross the games where I'm losing versus Strifecro. I think there was too many of them.
Oh, there's so many. Man, let me link you some right now.
Oh, please
like
don't kill me. Don't
and
destroy my evening.
the viewership wasn't that bad either relative to the star power, so to speak. Like Clarity was kind of unknown at the time when we invited them, but Kit Kats, Admirable, Chalky, they're all making big names for themselves as well, whether or not you guys like them and they're your favorite players or not. But
We are
even on like
friends.
YouTube,
So.
yeah, even on YouTube, we still got a pretty decent viewership. So like overall, like I wasn't disappointed with how Fight Night ended or turned out. A lot of people said it kind of did, but it changed so much over time that I really liked it and stuff. So it was a cool project to work on.
I have to add that actually, like, all those players that you named, we are actually like friends, and even though I haven't met all of them like in person, we are still hanging out together on Skype. Like we discuss stuff, and we feel like we are the Fight Night crew. Like all the guys that were at Fight Night and in Potsdam, like we really bonded in some way. So we stay in contact. We discuss a lot of topics, and so that's definitely something that won't die.
Yeah, and a funny story. Actually, I think I may have told this story already, but like Fight Night, like, and this definitely applies to Strifecro, but the way the team kind of came together was really funny because the teams didn't really exist, so they just kind of created what they had. Like, if you guys remember in season 1, what was your team name? It was Team Other
The other
Team
team
No Name Yet.
The other team no name yet.
And then it was
Then we met Praise
Ragnarus.
Ragnarus. That was good.
Yeah, those were good times, man.
Ragnarus does not want to be praised there. We had super good luck on Ragnarus on season 1. Then after he changed our name to Praise Ragnarus, he just kept working against us.
So just a short background about the name. So at first Fight Night, Doge House was Doge House, and the other team didn't have a name at the time. So Artosis did a quick vlog from like Seoul's airport, and actually like Simon from iHeartFew just put a silly tag like the other team no name yet, or like other team no name yet, and on Fight Night they just acquired the name and they actually called themselves like the other team no name yet, which is great.
Yeah. So I mean, in the end, ESPN's done some cool stuff, and when they drop, someone else will pick it up. So I'm really confident in stuff moving forward on a personal level, and I guess there's really nothing else much to say about it. So.
Yeah,
Unless you have more questions for me about stuff.
Oh yeah, that's actually a good thing. Stripe, do you have any questions about ESGN?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I guess there are some questions on Reddit, but we can get to it when we get to the Q&A section. So, I don't have any questions. I know everything.
All right. Are we asking Strifecro questions?
Strifecro, like, yeah, we can actually.
Oh wait, no, sorry, I didn't hear.
You just
the Skype call kind of bleeped
we
out.
lost you. We lost you for a moment.
What happened?
No, nothing happened. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. We can move on to the other tournament stuff. So like ESGN League canceled, but there are other tournaments. We talked about Tavern Takeover already. Tavern Takeover is supposed to happen twice a month, I think. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is like a recurring tournament, so there will be more. Definitely, there will be more.
Strifecro will be invited too because they invite the winners back, right?
I hope so. I hope so.
I think they invited Reels back from the first one for sure. He won the first one.
That's right.
They invited all the players who won the first round.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, I'm leaving for China this Friday for 2 weeks, so I don't know how that'll work. Because I'm gonna go visit my family. That's why I'm not going to DreamHack because of this.
Okay. But you're still interested in traveling to tournaments and continue to compete, right?
Yeah, this is just for 2 weeks, basically.
Okay. Nice little summer family reunion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be testing with Strifecro for DreamHack anyway. Like he's still freelancing for Doggy House, so we're going to use it.
Speaking of which, real quick before we move on to it, so Nick's officially retired, which is fine, but like, is there any status update about Doggy House in terms of like, is there like sponsors, or is there like, are you guys gonna change the name finally, or what's gonna happen? Like with Stripe, like you guys don't actually have an official 4-man roster anymore, so you're just gonna keep borrowing Strifecro until? Are you guys like friends with benefits? Can you talk to me about this relationship, or am I exposing too much here?
It's starting to get dangerous.
I'm just gonna let Gnimsh talk about this.
Okay, so right now no update. Some things are in the air, but I can't say anything yet. So definitely there has to be something with our team. Because as you said, like the current roster, we lost Savitz, we lost Nix because Savitz moved to Cars, Nix retired. So the current roster is me, Aikob, Artoses, and we freelance Strifecro, who is not like really going to join Doggy House. He actually replied about it in one of the Reddit threads some time ago. So right now it is as it is. Like we'll continue to play Take TV Team League as we are, and we play in different show matches. But something is in the air. So.
Oh wow!
How convenient. So
I actually lost you.
And he comes back. Wow.
Oh my god, I'm back. What happened?
Yeah,
Where did you lose me?
You said something is in the air, but and then you DC.
Oh my. So let's leave it at that. Do you have my oh, I'm not on. Okay, I'm on now. I only added that these leaps are closed. Or that these leaps are sealed. Oh, that's the good expression.
lips. All right, cool. I was just curious about that, but we can kind of move on to mention some of the other tournaments that people should be watching and stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's a couple of tournaments going to be in the future. We have the DKMR Invitational they actually invited Trump. Is Trump confirmed? We
I
know
think
if
yeah,
Trump's
they
confirmed.
have a list of players. You guys aren't on it, which kind of surprised me. But essentially, it's what either DKMR is trying to put their own players against some of the most well-known players from around the world, including really good players from ladder like Oskaka and Wampy, as well as really notable players like Taj, Gara, Trump, Dark Wanix, and more. So you guys should definitely go check it out. I don't know too much about it. I think they're supposed to be like if you the more you win, the more money you get in terms of like it kind of rolls, right? So if you win, you get like $50, and next if you come back and win again, you get like $100. And the more you win, the more it kind of stacks up and accumulates. I think I'm not exactly sure, so don't take my word for it, but I think that's how the thing is. So it's kind of like a cool little show match of team versus everybody. I think. Or Trevor, are you playing in this and no more information or what?
I have no idea. This is the first time I ever heard about this tournament when Gnimsh said it right now. So
Yeah, this is kind of new. I mean, they announced it like what 1 day ago. 1 day is 6 hours ago. There is a news on Ghost and Gamers.
I see.
It's kind of cool that there is another tournament to look forward, like another series of show matches with good players. Also, like this will be kind of a promotion to the DKMR Don't Kick My Robot team as well, because
Yeah.
they seem to be a bit of under the radar with like Curse, Doggy House, like Isuba and other teams like getting and Meteor Makers, like those teams getting the building a name to themselves, or Planet Key Dynamics even, and so the KMR is under the radar mostly, and this might bring some more attention to them. And they have some good
Yeah.
players as well.
They have really good players overall. And another tournament that people should kind of be watching out for is Millennium Cup, which is a tournament series put on by a French team, Millennium, who's traditionally known to host these tournaments for StarCraft, but now they're hosting another. It's kind of like Take TV Seat Story Cup in a way, where it's hosted in a house, in a gaming house, and the entire thing is done like organically through cameras and whatnot, and is streamed. I think the only two people that are confirmed are Kungin and Gara, but they're also having open slots created through qualifiers and whatnot. So people should check that out as well, because it's a pretty hefty prize pool, and you get to see some of the best French players go at it as well. So I think it's just another tournament that people might not have heard of, and they definitely should, because it's a pretty good chunk of prize pool, like $5,000 or something like that. I don't know if you guys heard anything about this tournament, but I think
We were
people
talking about
should-
Millennium Cup, right? Because I lost you for
Yeah.
a moment. Yeah, I mean, I heard about it like a month ago, or maybe even further than that, when Savitz was invited. I'm not sure if I think he can't actually attend the tournament, but there's definitely a couple of good players invited. Personally, I wasn't invited yet, but if they want to invite me, I can go. Like it's in 3 weeks, 2 weeks? No, 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
It's at
2
the
weeks,
end
I
of the
think.
month, I believe. So
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah. That
yeah.
if they want me, I can definitely go. Strifecro would go as
Yes.
well,
This
right?
is the time to be playing in tournaments.
I
So
don't know.
because Strifecro will start winning again in July when he comes back from China. So take notice, rest of the Hearthstone scene. Like your time to win for 2014 is now, because starting from the second half of the year, it's not happening when Strifecro starts kicking it up again. Just
Yeah,
letting
we
people
have
know.
like 2 weeks of like no Strifecro in the tournament scene, right?
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there is DreamHack. I can
Hey,
do
you
it.
guys
That's
had like
biggest-
2 months before too.
This is like the biggest ninja patch to Hearthstone. Strifeco's not playing anymore. People are like, "Oh my gosh, Strifeco's gone. We can actually win."
Actually, there was a funny discussion about the Strife on Reddit as well. Like,
What happened?
I don't even know why, but like people started talking about you, like you being retired from Hearthstone, like not playing, and somebody posted that, yeah, like Strifecro is not doing anything anymore, and then somebody replied with your legend rank, which was a rank 1 NA, and yeah, Strifecro is not playing at all, obviously. And the guy was, oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I did take a pretty long break, but I've been playing again a lot, so.
That's good.
Yeah, but this is
Cool.
cool about Hearthstone, like for now at least, that you can actually like if you're one of the best players, you can really come back, just review stuff, ask your friends what's going on, play a couple of games, and really get back. It's not like, well, you have to start from scratch. You just can use
Well,
your
it'll
knowledge.
always be like that. That's just the type of game Hearthstone is. That's why I like it so much too. like Hearthstone isn't really mechanics based. It's more like knowledge based or whatever. So there's no way they can change Hearthstone where that wouldn't be true. So
Yeah, I agree, and that's actually true for other card games as well.
yeah, like Magic and stuff.
Yeah, and
Even stuff
Warcraft.
like even stuff like poker and any
Yeah, that's
games
what
like
makes it
chess
easy to
or
jump into too. Once
Yeah.
once you take a break and come back, so it's
It
nice.
actually helps to deal with burnout as well. Like if you're in a really in a burnout period, you can take a break. You can take an actual break and then get back after like a week or like 2 weeks,
yeah,
refreshed and ready to play. And burnout happens. Like burnout happens for all gamers.
that
Yeah,
is definitely
definitely.
true.
So while we have Strifecro here, we kind of even talked about him coming back and playing for a little bit. I guess we just want to continue to pick his brains. So, Strifecro, talk a little bit about some of your ladder stories, like what you've been trying out, because people do know that you stream on Azubu, but no one really
Mhm.
watches Azubu. So, unfortunately, I watch your stream sometimes on Azubu, but I feel like I'm one of the few people who do. I've seen you've been testing out all kinds of stuff. So, just talk about a little bit of your adventures right now in the current metagame.
I've been playing mage a lot recently, like a control mage. Um, the cool thing about like control mage is that control mage can reach close to 100% win rate against Miracle Rogue, which is really cool because um, there hasn't been a good counter to Miracle Rogue for a while. Like it feels kind of decent enough against everything, and control mage can really like just shut down Miracle completely. Um, I started out with a control mage list that like literally couldn't lose to Miracle, and I've been tuning it better and better against other decks and worse against Miracle. But I think the deck is still like pretty much a free win against Miracle. Um, so yeah, like I guess the tools are basically like ice block, like having basically enough ice blocks, enough ice barriers, and just like weird disruption things like flame strike, mirror image, even like a vaporize. It's like like that's one of the things that I kind of tuned
Oh,
against
did you
Miracle.
start that? Because I lost a game because I didn't think it was Vaporize, and I was like, "Who did someone did Reynad
Uh,
play Vaporize?" And I'm like, "What's going on here? Was that you, Strifecro, who started that?
It's
I
probably
don't think so.
it's
Is it
probably
your house
Strife.
I have
Yeah,
to burn down because I
it's
made it
actually
down?"
you can only have it on turn 2. Like Strifecro casually spoiling the new meta game and like where it all started.
But I don't know. It's like those cards are just super strong against Miracle Rogue. Like if you vaporize their Leroy, they'll never be able to shadow step it. And also it's like they can most of the games that you play with that deck, Miracle can draw all 30 cards and never come close to killing you, and they'll just fatigue out after that. So um, because you can basically flame strike their concealed Gadgetzans, and you can kind of kill a lot. Basically, they're 3/3s with like combination of Flame Strike and Blizzard, and then they only have a certain amount of damage, like Leroy, Shadow Steps, Cold Bloods, Eviscerates. But they're always gonna have to run into Ice Block, which is awkward because Leroy leaves behind so many whelps, and there's ice barriers that have to get through it, and they're probably gonna kill you or proc your blocks fairly late in the game, like I'd say at least turn 10. So there's always the Alex draws to deal with after that. Just heal back up. So yeah, that's just how it works. Like I think I've been having I guess some trouble playing that kind of mage against some other stuff. Like Druid has been fairly hard for me, but it kind of just makes up for it with just the strength of it against Miracle Rogue. So
It's a good deck for King of the Hill series, definitely to
yeah,
counter
exactly.
Miracle Rogue. So we might see some mage control at DreamHack, or even better if there is even
Oh,
earlier if there
I
is a
think
tournament.
so.
Yeah,
I think so.
especially with tournaments being where you can usually pick decks when you lose, So if you have decks with a strong identity like that, where it's like extremely good against one type of deck, and as long as it's like playable against most other things, which it is, then these decks can be really good tournament decks because it can just slaughter Miracle Rogue, and it can slaughter it even harder if you tune against it more.
Now everyone will ask you for the list, actually.
The people already are. They're spamming it, but don't give in, Strifecro. Make them subscribe to premium Strifecro content. All right.
Okay,
cool.
so like
Gnimsh?
beside Mage, what do we have? We're not giving more decks, right, Strifecro? I
No, we don't have
actually
to give out too
asked.
many Strifecro secrets.
I'm kind of like surprised
There's a lot of
because
stuff I've been testing, but I don't know, just
yeah,
cool stuff.
I'm
He's
kind of
always
surprised because
testing Druid.
I was
Huh?
talking to Strifecro before. What?
Sure,
I
go
said
on.
Strifecro always is testing Druid, so
Oh
people
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah,
see.
yeah, yeah. I was Frodan. I was like talking to Strifecro before when he actually came with the idea of the control mage, and I told him, yeah, Strifecro, don't make the list public and stuff. Like, don't say to people that you're playing it because it might be a good secret deck for the next tournament. And here we we just learned about everything. But yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So uh,
On the latter generally seems like almost anything goes in a way. Like I've seen all kinds of decks, and like Warlock's getting scarier because now people are starting to pick up the idea of combo Warlocks, or just like I guess it's like a rush Warlock where you use a bunch of ways to lower HP, and then you just kind of combo them down from like a middle of your like maybe like 15 to 16 health or something like that. So it just seems really scary that the meta is getting really bursty. So I don't really have a finger on a pulse. I've played a lot of games against these kinds of decks too, so I don't know. I
I
think
think
the
we
most
are.
scarce is Warrior actually. I don't see a lot of Warriors anymore on ladder.
Yeah, we're kind of died out. I mean, right now we are in in transition period again because the new season just started on the weekend, and people are playing aggro decks mostly, like to get to legend as soon as possible. After most of the population gets to legends, like most of the top population gets to legend, the metagame will stabilize again, and we'll be just fighting for the numbers. But right now
I
it's
find
mostly
that,
like
yeah. At the beginning of the season, I don't think anyone really cares what they play. It's just like they'll test whatever they want, you know.
yeah, it's
But
kind of
once they get
risky.
into Legend, I feel like people just want to get the ranks, basically.
And right now there's like not real punishment because if you are just losing stars for the deck, it doesn't really matter because you can easily get back and get the rank. But on the legend, if you drop to a really low rank, you can feel that this is not the place you want to be.
Yeah, people just kind of give up and do whatever they want at that point. They stop trying to play for rank and they play for the Reddit posts. That's what they do.
They play for the Reddit posts. Oh, you mean
Yeah, it's
like
like,
just
oh,
hang
I
out in the
have
community?
Legend with Dragon Priest, and it's like, oh,
Oh,
okay,
okay,
this is
okay.
actually not a good deck.
Okay, I guess we can move on to the community questions, unless you want to add anything else to the meta discussion.
No, I didn't have a deck of the week that I picked for you guys, so I was just kind of curious as what you guys thought, or what stuff you were working on. So Strifecro shared some insight, which was nice.
Yeah,
Unless you
like
have something, Mitch.
well, I only say that Agro Hunter might be an interesting deck to play, and that's everything I have to say. that well, yeah, that's it. I just can't spoil anything. So deck of the
Cool.
week, definitely Control Mage.
Sure, go ahead and try it. It's pretty good. So I guess we can ask some of these questions, and we pulled it from the thread that we posted on Reddit earlier. So we'll just kind of go based off some of the ones. So Strifecro, we'll try to gear most of the questions to you because since you are our guest. Miracle, Miragel, is my eyesight failing me? And this is kind of interesting that it's his username because he's asked a question about Miracle Rogue. He says, Strifecro, do you feel Miracle is too strong and needs to be nerfed, or do you think it's balanced?
I think Miracle is should probably get some changes. Thing is, I think Miracle is like what Gadgetzan really allows you to do is like build decks with really unhonest mana curves. Just because like you can draw so many cards from Gadgetzan that you can you can use so many cards at low mana costs. Like Miracle Rogues, what have like no cards above 5 mana, and they're actually Miracle Rogue is actually kind of considered a late game deck versus a lot of decks. Like say you're playing a Druid deck, like most of the mid range Druids, you're all in against Miracle Rogue. Like they're the control deck, and you're the aggro deck. And if you look at the mana curves, it doesn't even make sense. Like they have no cards above 5 mana. Most of their stuff is like 1 or 0 mana.
And they deck out. It's just gross. It's like
Yeah,
their curve's
it's
like
just
10-0 costs. Like what?
yeah, exactly. It's just basically a lot of it. It's not good either because Miracle Rogue is like there's not you can't really interact with them a lot for a lot of decks. Like maybe Control Mage you can kind of tune some stuff to interact with them like Ice Blocks and Flame Strikes, but it's like for a lot of classes, it's really hard to interact with concealed Gadgetzans, and most of their smaller creatures are just there just to like buy time. Um, so it's just like a lot of people describe playing against Miracle Rogue as like solitaire or whatever, and I guess that's kind of true. I think
I love
it's
how you said that the only way to interact with Miracle Rogue is with the super passive cards like Ice Block, which is a secret and
yeah,
creates almost no interaction whatsoever. But
yeah,
it's true. It's true. Like it's the only way.
yeah. I mean, I think they could probably change Gadgetzan somehow. I mean, with the Rogue, it's just a lot of Rogue low cost spells are so strong. Like Backstab is pretty much one of the strongest cards in the game. Um, so I don't think they should necessarily like nerf all the Rogue cards, but maybe do something with
Yeah.
Gadgetzan. I don't know how. It's like I've seen some suggestions which are kind of cool, but
Which one do
this
you
kind of
like the
goes.
most?
This kind of goes. Like I've seen Trump's suggestions to like make Gadgetzan legendary, so you can only have one of them. That was kind of cool. Um, I guess like nerfing a 6 mana. I don't know if it'd be usable for like anything else though, and it'd be kind of weird. Like I think one of the cool things that could be cool is just that they can't do just because of what I said earlier. How Hearthstone they want to keep it really simple so that they want to have like counters and UI for everything, and if they have to add like new counters, it'd be weird. But I was thinking like if Gadgetzan like drew the card the next turn, so it's like not all instant. Like you can't just Gadgetzan draw like 10 cards on the turn. Like you can maybe cast spells and if you could draw it at like the beginning of next turn or something. But again, that would basically just introduce the problem of like either it'd be concealed information which you'd have to memorize, or there'd have to be like a counter, which is just not really what they want to do. So I mean, they would do that in like other games like Magic. They wouldn't care, but it's just Hearthstone. It's just part of the price they're paying for
Yeah.
keeping it really simple. So
There are
I
ways
guess
to
that's
counter the deck anyway. So
yeah, but I don't know. There's always a difference between a way to counter the deck and the deck just like crushing the meta, where it's like keeping a lot of decks down. Like that's why even that one patch just nerfing Unleash from 32 is so big because like just before they nerfed Unleash, like sure you could counter that kind of hunter, the mid range or like strong one. In fact, Miracle Rogue countered that deck to begin with, because the hunter deck was based on like big unleashes a lot, and you would never unleash against Miracle Rogue very well because they only have one creature out at a time generally. But like ultimately, the issue is that like say Shaman or Paladin, you would never see those classes before because when the whole class is based around like hero powers making a dude, and there's no way for shaman or paladin back then to even like make a deck against like a mid-range hunter. Like no matter what you do, you just be a huge underdog in the matchup pretty much. Like you see nowadays like shaman being a pretty popular class again, that just instantly happened when they nerfed unleash. Like shaman, if you look at like the power ranks or whatever of when Unleash was 3, Shaman was consistently at like the very lowest or one of the lowest classes, and now it's like a really strong class again, just because that one change. It's really like the same kind of thing with Gadgetzan. It's just keeping a lot of decks down, and it's not even keeping it down in like a healthy way, where it's just like a toxic deck keeping it down. But yeah.
Cool. Cool. One of the suggestions, and this is kind of leads into the next question. It's asked by Austin358. It says, "Do you think it'd be a good idea to make Leroy untargetable by spells to push aggro burst meta revolving around this card and its combos in a different direction? I guess kind of making it like Fairy Dragon.
Fairy Dragon.
I
And
mean, this is specifically a change to not be able to target it with buffs, right? Like you
I
won't
don't
be
know,
able
if
to
it's
target
Fairy
Leroy.
Dragon, you wouldn't even build nuke it, which I think that would be too strong just for in general in Leroy. Like, sure, it'd technically be a nerf, but that's like nerfing it while buffing it. It's like sure you can't maybe Cold Blood or Shadow Step it, but you would have a lot of weird situations where aggro decks would just play Leroy and charge you to the face, and you couldn't even kill it the next turn.
Well, you can probably word it a little differently, like the stats of this card can't be changed and can't
you may
increase
not
it.
Shadow Step Leroy in the subtext.
Oh yeah, like shadows to stuff.
That was basically their complaint.
Maybe you can't target with maybe the player who controls Leroy can't target. But this is again like making the game more complicated, like not using the keywords that are available, but creating something new.
I mean, I could see them adding something like that because, like, it's just more text in the card, but it's not like, I don't know. I don't know if it really goes against what they were trying to do. Like, say you can't target yourself, but I think it'd be okay. I mean, it is really kind of dumb when Leroy gets Shadow Step like 2 times, does like 18 damage. Um, but ultimately, that's just like back to what I was saying. It's like that's not like you never really feel bad. Like there are tempo rogues and aggro rogues, and these are no one really uses Shadow Step with Leroy, or even if they do, it's like a huge cost to the deck. It's just Miracle Rogue can run such a low mana curve because of Gadgetzan. Like you never see aggro rogues run like 2 Cold Bloods, 2 Shadow Steps. Like that's just too much. You're just gonna end up with like one card in your hand. It's gonna be like a Cold Blood too much.
Yeah.
Like that's just, even aggro and tempo rogues. Like they have to keep be fairly honest with their mana curve and how they're operating. Um, like you see maybe aggro rogues with 2 Cold Bloods, but you almost never see like Shadow Steps and like stuff like Conceal. Like there's just too many like cards that do nothing in Miracle Rogue. Like as
Yeah, but
far as like
they essentially they work because you draw the whole deck. Like you have the
exactly,
whole pool of cards that you can use. So yeah, in most situations those cards are really well situational. So like for Shadow Step you'll have to have this like SA7 or something else that you can actually get back to your hand. So there's no point in using that. And Cold Blood also like you have to have a minion, and it's better to have to draw into another minion, not Cold Blood in an aggro rogue.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, like say your whole deck was pretty much like Cold Bloods, right? Like you could like if you ever got a Gadgetzan out, like the deck wouldn't do anything. Like you'd just get slaughtered, like unless you had Gadgetzan. If you had Gadgetzan, like if you think about like the card Cold Blood, and if you just keep drawing into them, like each one is like 4 damage. If you have like 6 mana, that's like like 24 damage already, just like Cold Blooding stuff 6 times. Yeah, I mean I know technically there's like a combo, but like say anything concealed, you can just one shot people with the Gadgetzan just because you can if you just keep drawing into that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah. So do you feel like
So
Leroy is an
Leroy's not the
OP card?
problem, so it's Gadgetzan.
So is Leroy? Yeah, like I think Leroy is only abused in the Miracle Rogue. Like other than that, the card is fine.
They're
It's
sad about hand locks being able to burst for 20 or 24 if you have Soul Fire, or other ways you can kind of use Leroy as well.
But this is the drawing question again.
That's like
I mean,
exactly like it's like so rare. It never feels like it happens that often playing Giants, and that's like 10 mana as well. I don't know. It's just specifically like it's because it's so consistent on Miracle Rogue is the problem. Like you can run weird combos in any deck. It's just Miracle Rogue can run these weird combos so consistently, and the combos rely on like all cards that are like, 0, 1, or 2 mana pretty much. So like the deck feels like it should be all in, but it's like it's you that feels all in a lot of times, which is weird, for
Yeah.
how the mana curves are working.
And to make an awesome combo, you don't need a Leroy, actually. Like in the Warlock deck that you mentioned, Frodan, like the OTK Colento Warlock, you can have even more damage with like Arcane Golem.
Yeah, double
Arcane Golem,
power.
double power Manipulator, and like so long Leroy, like I've just dealt
Or
tons of damage.
if you have coin and Leroy, you can actually like.
Oh
I think
yeah,
he
yeah.
pulled it
You,
off
you
one
can
time. He
make it
played
even better.
Leroy, coin, double, power overwhelming, and faceless, and he smacked for
That's like
20.
about 28 damage.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah.
But I mean, those are again. I think it's right. You need 4 or 5 cards to pull that off, and that's just like kind of niche situation where Miracle, you see it almost every game, which is just really maddening. Unless they get really unlucky and Leroy's the last card. So that's cool. I hope that answers your question, also. I'm gonna keep moving on, Gnimsh, because there's a lot of questions.
Sure.
We'll just try to pick a few more. Strifecro, this is an interesting one asked by Rafa9. He says, Strifecro, what new Nax Rammus card for Priest would help make them viable again? Or more viable? Whichever one you want to say.
You want me to design a whole card on the fly? I don't know. Let's see. Priest is. I don't know if Priest is that weak. It's just, again, like Priest is one of the classes that are just suffering the most from Miracle Red, just because they're just not fast enough to race Miracle Red down. Like Priest is like a slow kind of like this playstyle of Priest is just like what, like it's just like try to win the creature battle. So it's really like tempo based, I guess, like really honest. It's just like fighting people, like rolling creatures. It's kind of like Druid, except like Druid has more aggressive options, whereas Priest is like really trying to just stick the last creature standing and just keep healing it and stuff. Um, and Miracle Rogue just eventually just kills them. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess if they got some tricky stuff to do with Miracle Rogue, like some of the mage stuff, like, but
that would only address the current meta as well, and
yeah,
we don't know what
exactly.
pops up as well.
Maybe something to kill the 4 attack minions.
Gadget's
It's like people keep
But-
saying that, but I don't know.
I'm not
What are
sure.
your thoughts on the Strifecro? Because like everyone always
What?
says, just give us a 4 attack kill spell or something. Is that really the answer to everything?
I don't think so. I mean, I guess I kind of don't really like. I don't really like when removal spells are targeting stuff that's like above a certain threshold. It feels kind of weird to me, like BGH and Shower Death and stuff. It really like Showered Pain really makes sense where it's like killing minions below a certain threshold, But I don't know how Shower Death and BGH and even stuff like Black Knight, they almost kind of don't make sense. Like to some extent, it's like needed just because some of those cards, it's like a balancing game where it's like you can design these cards and then the game won't be out of control to some extent because they can always just start adding in BGHs and Black Knights to your deck if certain taunters or certain 8/8s or whatever get too strong. But like it almost feels like a cheating way to balance stuff to me. Like
a cop out.
Yeah, exactly. Because like it really doesn't feel good when your creatures get killed because they're too strong, not because they're too weak. Like I've never felt bad getting Showered Pain. It's just like they can only kill my small creatures, or like yeah, even if something really bad gets Showered Pain, like a Water Elemental or whatever, you can kill Water Elementals. It's like sure, it doesn't feel too bad, but it's just like especially when like you buff your own dude into like a taunt like Argus something and then it gets Black Knighted, or like say you buff it up like your Argus something gets death. Like it almost feels like it's just like penalizing you for having too strong of a minion, which is really weird. I guess they probably do have those cards in other card games, but I don't know. It feels different in other card games to me. I don't know. I can't really explain it that clearly because I don't know. I guess there was stuff like that in like even Magic, but I guess it just didn't really feel like that because the removal in Magic was so cheap to begin with. Like you can remove a creature for like 2 mana, so it
Like
never
terror.
really felt any different. Yeah, it never really felt any different if like say I don't know, like a spell like Plummet, like killing your flying creature for 3 mana. It's just like who cares? Like that doesn't even make a difference. It's just like the stuff in Hearthstone is just like the removal for like BGH and stuff and Black Knight is so ridiculously cost effective. It's just like it feels completely soul crushing when anything ever gets Black Knight or BGH. And it's like one of the only
Or
ways
like
that they can
both
do it.
in the same game in a certain
Yeah,
final.
exactly. But to some extent, like it feels like they need it. Like imagine like fighting giants without BGH in it as like a druid or whatever. Like it's just gonna be like an uphill battle the whole way. Them playing like 4 mana 8/8s and you playing 4 mana chill and yetis. That's just good, how it's gonna be. But I don't know. It always felt really awkward to me. Like when I play my Druid Claw, and I don't even want to charge them, but if I play it in the taunt form, it's just gonna get Black Knighted, so it's just
Yeah,
weird.
and you're like
So
playing around
Frodan,
so many things.
does it answer your question, Frodan? Or would you like Strife to repeat?
I kind of don't even remember what the question was.
Yeah, I actually cut out for part of that answer. Could you could you go over that again?
Yeah, sorry, that was actually a very long
Just start from the
explanation.
beginning. It's
Uh,
really
I
cool. I
forgot
mean,
what made me go down this train of thought, but it had something to do with the question, but I don't remember what the question was
the
exactly.
question was, I don't think the 4 attack spell removal
Oh
would be
yeah,
the
yeah.
answer to
So
helping
specific,
Priest.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I know that we ended
Um,
up discussing the card that
Okay, well,
removes
I don't know
creature
if it helped
flying.
Priest, but
What?
I don't like it. Is what I want to say.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Let's keep Next question
uh,
from Reddit.
next
What do we have?
question. Um, to all three. So this is a question they asked to all of us. What deck would you choose to scale positions in ranks, beginning a new G? So basically, what do you think is your go-to deck to climb rank at the moment if you wanted to? This is asked by Hatesville.
So maybe I will start. My golden rule for ladder is that I always play aggro, because you really are not losing that much if you lose a game. So you want to have the best efficiency with regards to time spent, stars gained, when you're grinding ladder. So that's why I prefer to play 3 games with Murlocs, for example, and win 2, lose 1, then play a very long game with Warrior versus something and lose it in the end. That's why I would also aggro decks are, they are not that easy to play, but they are easier than control decks. So they're a good way to learn the game as well. So I would really advise people to play aggro, and I think a lot of people will hate me for giving that advice.
Well, what deck would you choose specifically? Because that's still kind of vague. Aggro is a huge genre. Or you're just
I
saying
will,
pick any aggro deck like Pally aggro, Warrior
yeah,
aggro, Mage
I
aggro.
think yeah. I mean, all those decks are valid. Personally, I always pick Murlocs. Because it's not like I mindlessly
Okay.
grind ladder. I'm trying to find a golden deck that will just get
Okay.
to beat everything. But if I get on tilt, like if I'm really losing, and then I just create a new Warlock deck and type
You get on
Murloc and
tilt?
what?
What? You get on tilt, Gnimsh? This is news to me. I
Okay,
thought
this
you were
is
the most cool cucumber in the cabinet.
well, I probably am, but I mean, it's not a normal tilt, raging and stuff. It's like I'm getting a bit frustrated. So the normal person will probably just jump out of the window at some point. At that point, I'm just getting a bit frustrated and playing Murlocs to chill.
Trevko, what question directed at you? What do you feel like is your go-to to climb the ladder right now?
Probably Miracle Rogue, I guess, if I want to climb as high as possible. It's just I guess it's just been the overall strongest deck for a while. Um I always kind of play my druids a lot. I mean, they're all good too. It's just I haven't really found any druid that just does that great against Miracle Rogue specifically. So there's always that problem of just running into Miracle Rogue as druid, and then and then just not being able to race them down fast enough, right? Because you're always all in as Druid versus Miracle Rogue, it seems.
Mhm.
I, I don't know. I guess Druid, Miracle Rogue, you can even play stuff like Giants. Actually, Giants is extremely good at high win rates. I don't know. For me, it's like I don't really mind playing long games, so it's like I just want to win a lot. I guess I don't know. So Giants is good. Giants isn't even that long. It's just like Giants right now kind of feels like an aggro ramp deck to me. It's almost like Druid. It's just like tap is like your life
It's
tap
like
is
your
like wall growth.
innervates.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
or your
wall
what?
growths, and then you just like turn 4 you start playing Giants, which are like stronger than Karn or whatever. So it's like if you wall growth twice, you can get a Karn on turn 4. So
Yeah.
it's just
Like Giants deck was also a very good deck last season, but at this point, like I'd like to have a shout out for Xixo, who actually was the first legend this season as well.
Yeah, that
Like
was nice.
so, Xixo. If you don't know Xixo, like Xixo is a player from Team Root with a mask and like I think Edgy and Era Eggy, yeah,
Edgy.
Edgy. I mean,
I
there
mean,
is G,
that
right?
does
So
describe him pretty well.
okay. Anyway, like Xixo got it what like after 12 hours. I think like the EU ladder was reset on 1 a.m. in the night, and by 3 p.m. Xixo was already legendary. So that was quite fast.
Yeah, it was.
And
He's like he likes doing that, like staying up all night and playing. It's quite admirable. Like I can't sit that long and play Hearthstone
well,
and be able to play well that long.
yeah,
It's pretty
his win
bananas.
percentage is incredible on that first day as well. Like because like he's winning most of the games to get to Legend 1. He's not losing the lose streaks and stuff. So
Well, I guess that might answer the question because he also plays Miracle Rogue as well.
yeah.
I would suggest Miracle Rogue, but I also would suggest like Zoo is always a really good choice to climb ladder because that's kind of like the litmus test of the meta by in my opinion because if like Zoo kind of keeps decks honest to a certain extent, which I really like about it. And what I use Zoo sometimes just because not only is it quick, it's fast, and it kind of adopts by Gnimsh's policy that it puts out games, and star generation is actually much easier through Zoo. But also because sometimes like it just beats decks that are just being way too greedy and way too dishonest, kind of like what Strifecro was alluding to earlier, or an anti-Zoo deck. Like a lot of times, sometimes I really create a deck that I feel like can beat Zoo because it's also extremely common. Warlock's like 25 to 30% of the games I play on ladder. So it's a really important thing to be able to fight against them. But then you can kind of metagame against that. So my suggestion would be Zoo or an anti-Zoo deck. And usually Druids are pretty good against Zoo. So I'd probably suggest that. All right, let's answer a couple more. How much time do we have, Niv? We have like 10 minutes?
Yeah, I guess 10 minutes is fine.
All right, cool. Did you want to pick a question, or I can keep picking it?
I'm just looking for the questions.
All right. Well, I got
I got one. Strifecro. When will you stream again? I miss you. It's a
well, I'm
question
gonna
from Remedy.
is that
well, I will stream after turn 2 this thing. I'm gonna stream in around 25 minutes.
cool?
So that's the
There you
answer
go.
to that.
Awesome. Let's see. Gnimsh, what are your thoughts on the last Deck Wars versus Ties of Time?
That's a very good question. I'm still to watch that. It happened.
All
It
right.
happened what yesterday?
Yeah, I think it was Trump took on against I'm gonna
It's
say his
Deck
name
Wars.
wrong.
It's Deck Wars.
Oh,
So
Deck. Oh, my bad. I was thinking
yeah,
NESL. Yeah.
exactly. It's like I've missed NESL as well. So like
I
Deck
apologize.
Wars. Deck Wars is the Machinima series. Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Yeah,
It's
and it
starting to
was
catch up to us, like all this Hearthstone content. It's kind of hard to keep track.
yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot happening, and unfortunately I missed it. But I will watch the VOD. So the VOD is not available yet. There was only VOD of the last week's episode, Gara versus Lothar. This week's Tides versus I don't even know who was whose his opponent was. So, but Tides also played on NESL versus Trump yesterday, or like tonight, and he won. And the fun fact is that he was using a shaman deck called the Red Viper,
which is apparently a Game of Thrones spoiler, and I haven't watched it, so please don't.
Okay, so we won't go there.
Please don't tell me anything more for my
Okay,
sake.
I won't tell anything. But it was so funny because today when I was checking Twitter, there was some tweets about the Tides of Time using the Red Viper, and I was like, okay, what's the reference? Like, what is going on? And then I learned that there actually was an ESO match versus Trump, and he named his shaman as the Red Viper. But yeah, I will stop at that because the rest is the spoiler. So
Okay. Let's see.
Okay.
We'll ask. Let's see if we can get one more good question.
I have a funny question.
Oh.
Gnimsh, did Kit Kats lie? And the thing is obviously that Kit Kat says that when you cast Brawl and you have an Armor Smith on the board, your Armor Smith will always survive. Which apparently was a lie, but then it was truth. In my case, I'd say Kit Kat's lied because if I cast Brawl or anybody casts Brawl, the minion that survives is the minion on my side of the board.
The law of Brawl is
Yes.
completely overridden.
That overrides the Kit Kat's
Gnimsh rule, right?
Exactly.
Rule of Gnimsh. Right? Okay, cool. So I guess that's it, pretty much. There's a question, the most upvoted question. I can even just kind of adjust that because someone asked me about my post EHGM plans. My post EHGM plans are just kind of day to day. I'm still kind of figuring out everything. I still have to file my papers in Germany because Germans are very specific about what happens after you lose your job. So I have yet to figure that out, but I'll let people know once I have something settled. As for like how blindsided I was, it was a little bit sudden. Pretty much the way esports haven't reported it was pretty accurate. And my guess is that basically they got one of the employees to tell them directly what happened. So it not really misleading information there out on the press. I know like ESGN kind of released this other thing where like it wasn't all true and there's something to be clarified. But from my perspective, it seems like most of what's been reporting is pretty accurate. There's some misunderstanding in terms of like the extrapolation of why it happened. And that's where I feel like eventually I'll talk about that. But as for what happened, it's pretty much out there on the internet if you want to go find it.
Okay.
That's that.
That was your shoutouts, or?
No, that was the last question because someone was asking like why I'm ignoring the top voted question. Which is
Okay.
I felt like I didn't want to bring more drama back into the Q&A.
I think you told us enough. I mean, you really like gave light to the situation. So.
Man, I spilled the beans for you guys.
Definitely.
My best for turn 2. So I guess that's it for the show, man. At least in terms of what I wanted to say. Did you want to cover anything else?
Well, not really. I think we can go to the shoutouts, but even before we go, guys, we have this new channel on Twitch, and the channel is called twitch.com/iHarfuse So if you like the show, if you want to see us in the future, please follow the site, the channel, and we'll probably run King of the Hill as well on this channel. I'm not sure, but like the next King of the Hill is Vice NL. Apparently, I was pronouncing it wrong the last episode.
Yeah, I was right, man.
You were right. You were right.
Yeah.
I was so
Frodan
sure. Anyway, Thais will be playing against myself. So next King of the Hill, it's Gnimsh versus Thais.
Cool. Good luck, man.
Will do my best.
Well, I was telling Tyers good luck because you have good luck. It's kind of implied.
I don't know why.
You don't know.
Okay, so shoutouts. Strife.
Yeah, shoutouts to Goblin Hunters.
To Goblin Hunters?
Yep.
Is
this another Game of Thrones thing that I'm like completely removed from and I don't know?
No, Goblin Hunters is my clan. It's by Clan Goblin Hunters.
From League of Legends or like overall?
No, it's not from a game.
Wildstar?
No, it's just a group of my friends on Mumble. Our Mumble is called Goblin Hunters.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
The
Cool.
OGs. Okay.
The OGs.
Yeah. Cool.
Frodan.
Is that it? You're done? Wow, that was the fastest shout outs I've ever heard.
That was a big shout out.
It's great.
Reserved.
Okay,
Frodan,
so I guess it's my turn. Cool.
Yeah, it's your turn. What kind of hunters do you want to shout out?
I don't want to shout out to the aggro hunters on ladder. They can die. Shout out to Kit Kats. He didn't lie. He gave me a lot of good tips, and I hope he does really well, especially since he's the only cursed member that's not in the DreamHack Open bracket. Or sorry, he's not in the DreamHack seeded. He's going to be playing through the BYC Open bracket. Definitely go check out like what DreamHack's up to, because that tournament is going to be massive. I can't wait. And thanks, Gnimsh, for taking over the host role, because asking myself questions about the ESGN topic would have been awkward as hell. So thank you so much for taking over that part of the show.
No problem. I like asking awkward questions.
Yeah. I'll probably stream a little bit tomorrow as well. Like, some people ask me about streaming. I stream my own games for fun, so you can just check that out. And I'll let you guys know on the Twitter at Frodan.
Okay. Grounds. And my shoutouts will be to... Well, I gave a shout out to Sixo for like getting the legends. I also have to give a shout out to Dens, because like when Sixo was streaming, being the first legend player in Europe, he actually got matched versus an Angry Chicken player. So rank 1 legends versus rank 25 Angry Chicken called Dens. Kind of similar to Dennis without I. So shout out to Dens. And also, shout out to Kier Panda. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I hope I'm not butchering it. So Kier Panda was doing some awesome doodles for the community, guys, like Admirable, Zen Style, Kit Kats as well, and myself included. So cool initiative, cool thing. You can watch it on Kier Panda's Twitter, which is, I guess, twitter.com/Kier Panda. Shout out to the Dogger House team as always, and to all the viewers. Thank you for tuning in. We hope we will be here next week, same time, and it's always awesome to like have a show for you guys. And obviously, shout out to my co-host Frodan. Thank you for being awesome, and I hope that everything will get better on your side.
They will.
Strife, it was a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah.
He says menacingly, plotting his next attempt at revenge to be able to be worthy to called a rival in Strifecro's eyes. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. We're done. That's how we'll end the show. Boom.
Yeah.
Peace out.